Hi, and welcome back for another daily dose of anime recaps. In this episode, we shall be covering the first 4 episodes of Golden Kamuy. As early as the 1900s, Hokkaido, after the Russo-Japanese War, one of Japan's unsung heroes, Saichi Sugimoto, looks for gold in a river. Nicknamed Sugimoto the Immortal due to his luck for escaping death countless times, he hunts for gold to fulfill his best friend's dying wish to cure his wife's deteriorating eyesight. Before we begin, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update from us. The series starts off on top of a 203-meter hill in Liudong Peninsula. Japanese soldiers hide in the snow, just itching to infiltrate the Russian lines. Sugimoto can't wait to get his hands on them and finish this once and for all. The signal is sounded, and the Japanese soldiers now run towards the enemy lines. Bombs and a series of bullets fill the air, killing each and every Japanese soldier. A stray bullet hits Sugimoto, taking him by surprise, but this doesn't stop him. Enraged by this, Sugimoto defies all odds and jumps into the Russian end, and with a raging scream says he is Immortal Sugimoto, before killing each and every soldier. This makes us believe that maybe Sugimoto isn't really human. Moving on, we're now in Hokkaido, near Otaru. Sugimoto is busy panning in the Hokkaido River for gold, but isn't really getting any. A drunk man is seated on the riverbanks, busy getting drunk and asking Sugimoto why he didn't get any gold medal for his heroic activities in the war. To this, Sugimoto tells him that he halfway killed a superior officer. No wonder he's now in need of money. Nonetheless, the drunk man tells him a story. Once, in the Hokkaido riverbanks, there used to be loads of gold the size of soya beans. However, the Ainu were storing this gold to fight the Japanese. Even after the Meiji Restoration, they were oppressing the Japanese. But then one day a man came and killed the Ainu who owned all the gold and hid it all in Hokkaido. The man was taken by the Japanese police and thrown into Abashiri prison, a prison situated at the end of the world, to be sentenced to death. He wanted to tell his friends the location of the gold, but never wrote a letter for fear of the guards finding it, and instead did something shocking. He tattoos the location of the treasure on the back of his cellmates and tells them that they can have half of the gold if they manage to escape and find it. Word gets out about this, and the guards escort these prisoners out to another location, but their greed gets the better of them, and they get killed by the prisoners. Now these prisoners are hidden away in the woods where nobody knows where they are. This tale gets Sugimoto's attention, but he lets it slide, assuming it to be just a tale, and falls asleep. Sugimoto dreams of his conversation with his best friend, Toreji, who requests him to take his wife to a good doctor and fix her failing eyesight. This was his final wish before he was killed in the war. Sugimoto wakes up with a jolt from this bad dream and is surprised to see the drunk man using his own rifle to kill him. But Sugimoto escapes death once again as the rifle is jammed. Scared out of his wits, the drunk man says he has told too much and runs away. Sugimoto wasn't going to let him escape and chased him, only to later find him buried in the snow, lifeless, with his stomach eaten by a bear. He also discovers tattoo marks on the drunk man's back and chest, which means the tale was indeed true. Before Sugimoto could escape with the body, a mother bear attacks him, but he's saved by the help of an Ainu girl. She kills the bear with the help of her poisonous arrows. She warns him of another terrifying bear that is called a matakarip, which in Ainu language means those that wander in winter, and it might come back for the drunk man's body. Sugimoto explains the whole story of the gold and asks for her help, which she agrees to. The two camp the night out, waiting for the bear, and are met moments later by an enormous beast that tries to tear Sugimoto apart. It seems Sugimoto has more lives than a cat, as he pierces the throat of the bear with the help of a dagger. With that out of the way, he skins the drunk man to use the map for later, and asks Asirpa, the Ainu girl, for her knowledge to locate the treasure. She agrees to help him. The two journey forward in search of the prisoners and come across eaten pine cones, to which Asirpa says it's the work of squirrels. She lays out a detailed trap to capture as many squirrels as possible to eat later. Using his tactics to find the prisoners, Sugimoto plans to search the populated cities, starting with Otaru, the port city. He chooses to ask the locals if they've seen someone with a weird tattoo on their back, and doesn't get a favorable response. Asirpa also isn't very lucky, and is bullied by a shopkeeper for being an Ainu. This doesn't sit well with Sugimoto, who puts him in his place with one punch in the throat. The man wheezes out a piece of valuable information, that there was someone else who was searching for tattooed men before them. Now on high alert, the two make their way back to camp, but notice that they are being followed. They hide away and luckily catch the man following them using the squirrel traps. A smart move. It seems they just captured another prisoner who they tied down. While Asirpa draws the tattoos, Sugimoto asks him who made them. A cheeky smile grows on the prisoner's face, and he says it was done by Naporabo, meaning a man without a face. Just as these words leave his mouth, a bullet penetrates the man's skull, killing him on the spot. The two take cover, and Asirpa uses her quick thinking to cast smoke and hide their image before running for safety. The killer follows them, only to also fall prey to the simple squirrel trap and gets his rifle thrown away. Sugimoto jumps and tries to overpower him, but it looks like the man is no amateur and is quick to counter back. Removing his disguise, he reveals himself as a soldier of the 7th Division, the strongest in the army. Sugimoto now has his hands full. We get to know that the Imperial Japanese Army 7th Division soldiers are the most feared ones out there and are called Guardians of the North, out of fear and respect. The soldier stares at Sugimoto and asks him what division he was in. Finding out that he was part of the 1st Division, he lowers his dagger and asks if he is also looking for the gold. Sugimoto jests and says that he's doing it for the girl he loves. Never knew he was one to joke. Pouncing at him with full force, the soldier tries to dominate Sugimoto, but instead gets thrown off and has his arm broken. Before Sugimoto could finish him off, Asirpa shouts his name and tells him to not kill. The soldier recognizes Sugimoto as Immortal Sugimoto, breaks his hold, and pokes his eyes before trying to escape. The two then go back to their tent and cook chitatap, a traditional dish of the Ainu made of squirrel meat. That night, soldiers find the body of the soldier, known as Private Ogata, lying in the riverbanks. The next day, the squirrel trap works its charm and captures, yet again, another prisoner. This one's a tough cookie who doesn't answer any questions, so Asirpa just draws the tattoos down before they get distracted by a rabbit and try to catch it. Taking this opportunity, the prisoner, known as Shiraishi, aka the Escape King, throws up a razor out of his mouth and cuts the ropes loose. Sugimoto chases him like crazy, but they both fall off the cliff and into the freezing cold river. For the sake of survival, Shiraishi agrees to help if Sugimoto lets him escape later. No choice left. He agrees. They create a fire and sit together to warm up. Shiraishi then tells them how there used to be 24 prisoners in total who escaped. However, he was misguided about one prisoner who was their leader, named Hijikata. Turns out the old man is a demon vice commander of the Shinsengumi, and he had single-handedly wiped out 3 guards during their escape. With that said, Shiraishi leaves, not one bit worried of being captured since he is notoriously known as the Escape King. Back at Otaru, a soldier tells Lieutenant Tsurumi that Ogata is awake. It's time for rabbit soup, which is made by the gifted hands of Asirpa. Sugimoto offers her to try his miso, but she confuses it with poop and avoids eating it. The following day, they set out to hunt for more food and come across a bear's den. Asirpa tells him a saying of the Ainu: if you go into a bear's den, it won't attack you. Not taking the risk, Sugimoto moves forward. On their way, Asirpa notices something shiny from a distance, which Sugimoto at once recognizes as binoculars, and at once picks her up to run. The duo are chased by a group of 7th Division soldiers who come closer by the minute. Knowing very well he can't outrun them, they decide to split up. Sugimoto also gives the diary with the tattoo pictures to Asirpa and tells her to give them the book if they capture her. One of the soldiers finds her in the tree and calmly asks her to come down and answer his questions. On seeing the book, he tries to kill her, but is instead attacked by a white wolf. Asirpa recognizes the wolf as her friend Ritar, who saves her from a near-death experience. On the other side, Sugimoto is cornered by 3 soldiers who tell him to comply, but he instead jumps into the bear's den. The oversmart soldiers shoot inside to take him out, but instead are met by a raging bear that kills all of them in seconds. However, it also meets its end when one of the soldiers kills it before finally also falling to his demise. A safe Sugimoto crawls out of the den with a baby bear and takes it back to his tent. He shows the bear to Asirpa, who, out of joy, takes him to her village, Kotan, where he meets her grandmother and learns about her life in the village. Back to the 7th Division led by Lieutenant Tsurumi, who are busy searching for the 4 missing soldiers. An angry Captain Wada comes and scolds Tsurumi for disobeying orders. But Tsurumi wasn't having any of it and bites Wada's finger off. Wada is later killed by a soldier, since they all follow Tsurumi. It seems one of the prisoners, named Ushiyama the Undefeated, is enjoying a good time before he's interrupted by Hijikata. He asks Ushiyama to help him get the other prisoners to complete the map. While all that was going down, it seems Sugimoto took this time to learn some new skills with Asirpa, who teaches him how to catch fish the traditional style of the Ainu. The two closely bond, and Sugimoto starts to grow a liking for the little Ainu girl. He is also deeply liked by the villagers, who see him as a close friend of Asirpa and treat him with equal respect and love. He learns of the different gods that the Ainu people follow, not to mention their firm belief in them. After a tiring day of playing around and enjoying, everyone falls asleep, except for Sugimoto, Asirpa's grandmother and uncle. They hear a low howl in the distance, to which Asirpa's uncle tells the tale of Ratar, her once beloved wolf. Asirpa and her father had saved it from a bear when it was small, and since then, the two have been inseparable. However, Ratar could not be a pet, and one day had to leave into the wild. This shattered her heart since she had also lost her father. Hearing this story, Sugimoto packs his things and bids farewell to a sleeping Asirpa and leaves. The next morning, Asirpa is filled with rage and tries her best to find Sugimoto and give him a good whack for leaving her behind. Something in her gut tells her that he just might be in trouble. Sugimoto is back at the port city and interrogates the shopkeeper he had punched earlier. The shopkeeper tells him that a tattooed man had badly hurt a girl in an inn the night before. Sugimoto leaves to investigate the inn, but the innkeeper instead calls the 7th Division soldiers on him. Surrounded by them, not even Sugimoto could escape. And to make matters worse, Tsurumi arrives on the scene and gives orders to bring him into his office. Beat up by the men, Sugimoto acts like he has no clue about the gold or prisoners. This doesn't fool Lieutenant Tsurumi at all, and he calls Sugimoto by his real name, showing that he knows everything about him. Sugimoto plays dumb again, but gets a thin, sharp stick pierced between his cheeks. The lieutenant is not one for jokes. However, all these threats don't make him budge, and he's ordered by Tsurumi to be taken away and given a good beating. Asirpa ventures out into the night to find Sugimoto using his smelly sock. She finds him sleeping in a dark room, but it seems she's mistaken. It's Shiraishi, the Escape King, instead. Looks like the two had worn each other's socks while they were drying off. She asks him to help her find Sugimoto, to which he runs the hell out, but is captured by Ratar. Looks like not even the Escape King can escape this time. Tied to a chair, bruises all over his face, and 2 sticks protruding out of his cheeks, Sugimoto is not having a good time. The 2 twin guards try to kill him, but fate will always be on Sugimoto's side. A quick headbutt from him sends one of the guards flying off. And, quick as lightning, Sugimoto plunges towards them with his chair and breaks it. Will Sugimoto escape the clutches of Lieutenant Tsurumi? Will Asirpa be able to save him from death? And will the duo finally be able to capture all the prisoners and find the location of the hidden treasure? We'll find out in the next couple of episodes of Golden Kamuy. And if you're a subscriber with notifications enabled, you'll find out soon enough.